I've had a really, really rough time over the past forever. And the recent interaction with the Sudbury Regional Police was not very fun, having them come to my door and threaten me. They know just as well as I do that that illegal recording cannot be used. That he entered my personal space and backed me in from where I could not move. He grabbed my hand. He tried to record a private bedroom. And he assaulted me. Now, if the cops were going to come to my door to arrest me, they would have. But to come to my door to fake threaten me that you could have arrested me really, really makes me mad. I don't know how I'm going to get a lawyer. Just to consult, it's $200 an hour plus GST, HST. And supposed to be looking for my next apartment and fighting a landlord-tenant board battle. And trying to stay sober. And trying to get over whatever is attacking my head. It went from a chest thing to a nose thing where it was just yellow snot. Now it's up in both eardrums, and every time I swallow it goes clickety click click click. And earlier today the right side of my face was pretty numb and hard to move. So I'm betting it was that, whatever it's called, but yeah. My time here in Sudbury has taught me one thing. One very important thing. Everything I knew about police goes out the window here. I'm used to living in places where a police officer sees you having a hard day and he offers you $5-10 to go get yourself a meal. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. He showed me cops can be people. But here in Sudbury, they come in with such an authoritative, asinine move by coming to my place and threatening me. Like, really. I cannot understand it one bit. Every time I've dealt with cops, they've had two reasons to come see me. Either I did something wrong and they were coming to arrest me, or I said something stupid and they wanted to make sure I wasn't going to harm myself. I've made it absolutely clear to people here, there, and everywhere, I can't. I have a self-preservation instinct, bar none, that would never let me do that. Whether I'm here for some special reason or not, I don't know, but there's that little part of me that, no matter what, stops me from doing incredibly stupid shit, including not wanting to be around. There's no way I'm doing it. I couldn't even do it on purpose if I tried. I could see myself throwing it away for some selfless act, but that's about it. And even then, it wouldn't be... my first thought is, oh, I don't want to be here. My first thought would be, can I help? I've always wanted to help, and that's always been my greatest downfall, is I'm not that great of a help. I remember times before everything got complicated. I remember being in kindergarten. We had this big classroom. It had all those big wooden blocks and tunnels and stuff you could play, crawl through, build stuff. And one day sticks out in particular, whether it is one single day or not, I can't remember, but and it's when our teacher was asking us what we wanted to be, and I said a firefighter because I want to save people. With my hip now, I couldn't be a firefighter, but that doesn't mean I can't help. I've been through a lot. Like, if you're out there hurting, if you found this video by some random happenstance and you're not doing the best in life and you just need someone you can talk to, I'm the type of person that I can be there. I can give an opinion, tell you it's over my head. But one thing I'm not going to say is it'll be all right and that I understand. Because a lot of the times it's not going to be all right. And some things we never understand until it happens to us. And I understand now why some people go out and do the off-grid lifestyle. I understand why some people work so damn hard because they want to own their own home and own their own things. I've just never really been good at much besides talking. And like in the past 10 years, I've even let that decrepit itself. Because quite frankly, I love to talk. I could probably make a 16-hour YouTube video of just me talking. Some of the things I would really like to talk about is like the treatment of the opposed or so-called narcissist. I don't believe for a minute that any doctor on the planet, when they're using terminology like narcissist and cut people off, have any idea what they're dealing with. This is not something from mythology. It's not learned behavior. It's far beyond that. This is on the microcode level of a person's brain. They've been through so much that it's physically changed the way their brain works, and they see things differently out of prospects of danger. They've seen it happen to other people. They know how it starts. They know how it ends. You can't call us narcissists because we sometimes can predict what's going to happen. My brain has an amazing ability when it comes to predicting things. I can see little tiny glimpses and come straight up to an answer. It's great. It's helped me stay alive. It's helped me stay safe. It's helped me get the hell out of situations when I needed to. Not so great when I try to read words because it likes to, oh, this is this word. You know, first couple letters, this has to be this word. So I misread words constantly. I don't use words in their normal vernacular format. I don't write. I couldn't even do it in school. I have a grade 3 education, to be honest with you all right now. In grade 3, I failed. I was held back. And in my second year of grade 3, I didn't do any better. I did worse. The decision by Wayne Moore in Cobalt Public School was to forge my records up to a 55 or 58 or 50 whatevers and pass me on from one grade to the next. I was not held to do homework. I was not doing most of the tests. I was not, I was only doing the work that interested me, and the rest of the time I was a disruption. There probably should have been a woodworking shop for us disruptors, and we probably should have learned a lot of things hands-on. Like, I know it's hard to teach math hands-on, but it can be done. And we probably should have been in a more physical routine. We probably should have been learning a lot more. And I'm telling you, world, give up on traditional education as it sits. Reformat it. You're going to have to figure out what kids are good with what educations. I hate to say it, but the smart ones can handle all of the current schools. They can handle all the current curriculum. They can do it with ease. They grow up. They end up super successful most of the time. And they have good lives. But us troublemakers, us disruptors, us high energy kids, I don't know if it could be woodworking, welding, engineering, but it's got to be hands-on. We got to be upstanding, moving around, doing stuff. Especially our ADHD kids. It's not structure they crave. It's creativity. You want masterpiece painters? You're going to have schools that cater to them. You want sculptors, you want engineers, you want a new world every 20 years. You're going to need all these different sects for all the different people to learn. Like, I don't know if they can start teaching firefighting in school. I don't know if they can start teaching boxing. I don't know if they can start, but they should. Anything that's a valid career path in life should have its counterpart in childhood education. Because then we can stop making good and start making great. And as for the financial industry, I've been taking a long, hard think about it. And I think if you're going to have a financial world, people should get a basic income. Because that gives them the option to become who they need to be instead of who you want them to be. It's not rocket science. It's just simple deduction. If you want something, you need to nurture it. If you don't want something, you got to cut it out at the root. You want no school shootings? Try making them happy. Try making every student happy. Make every student feel like they're worth it, especially the ones having the hardest time. If I were a teacher and I had to give advice to a student that's always having a hard time, I'd be like, some people don't learn in a day. Some people don't learn in a week. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for it to sink in. You just got to come back and try again. And when you find something you love and enjoy, it'll empower you. But instead, we tell students they're wrong, their opinions are wrong, the answers are wrong. The answers aren't wrong. It's learning. You learn by trying and failing and being able to try again. Not told you're wrong and you're bad and you're disrupting the class and it's really hard for someone to be told, you're so smart, but you don't apply yourself. You're so smart, and you will find that thing you can apply yourself to. Not everybody can do it, especially the first time out. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Find them. Bring them out. Make people happy. Like, it's just like the jails and the prisons. Yeah, they're needed. But you really shouldn't be putting everybody in there. You know, I would rather see a drug dealer get sentenced to finish high school than go to jail. I'd rather see a lot of crimes dealt with by making a person better. And I know that can't happen with everything. There's no one size fits all solution. But my recent days here, it's made me want to make more of these longer videos where I just talk about things and get things off my mind. And the political industry, like the politicians. Why do you think they're separate parties? Because they want you to fight. They want to say their ideas are better than their ideas. I got news for you. It all has a time and place. It's not a liberal idea. It's not a conservative idea. It's an idea. They don't own these things. But they walk around like they do. We let them like they do. They pick colors like they're the Bloods and the Crips. Still gangsters. They're supposed to be working for us, not working for each other. They're not supposed to be drawing massive paychecks when people like me on disability have a hard time even being able to rent our own apartment. Because right now, there's not a one-bedroom out there to rent. And I'm not living in somebody else's home, and I'm not going to get an apartment from housing before the end. Like, my options are severely limited, which means I might have to move. And when I say move, I mean move out of Sudbury. I don't know where I'm going to go. I don't know how I'm going to do it. But I am. It's all getting incredibly hard, but I'm learning so much about myself. I'm learning about my ADHD and instant gratification and how it's brought out the worst in me, because then in situations that are hard, I do the instant gratification with anger. That's something I'm going to have to break, and it's going to be hard. I didn't understand it, but I'm starting to. And I'm definitely somewhere on the autism spectrum, rainbow, or whatever you want to call it, whatever it is now. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind. How I'm going to get a doctor or a psychiatrist, really, is beyond me. There's no funding for it from disability. There's no funding from it from Ontario. I tried to get some free counseling. I did a bunch of sessions with a Canadian mental health phone number. You get like a different person you can call once a week, I think it was. It helped. It led me to seek more professional help, and when I did, the one place that had someone who could take me on was $320 an hour. There's a lot of people out there that should be talking to psychiatrists, that should have psychiatrists. They can't afford it. I really wish I was the type of person who had better grip on doing certain types of work. I'd love to have a foundation where people could donate money so other people could get the psychiatry help they need. It's desperately needed here in Canada. And you know, up until a few days ago, you would have asked me about what Trump said about taking over Canada, I would have been like, F him. But after going through what I'm going through, I'd rather have First Amendment. I'd rather have protection under those laws than what I currently have. I feel like I've been raffle stomped by the police. I feel like I've been raffle stomped by my landlord. And because they don't like who I am, they're not going to press charges on him? Like, and then I want to complain and have someone do something about it, and the only people to complain to is a place that's filled with ex-cops. That's the watchdog for Ontario is basically run by ex-cops. Like, last time I had a complaint, I had an ex-cop literally come meet me, and the minute I seen him, just from the shoes he was wearing, just from his demeanor, I'm like, so what did you used to do as a living? Oh, I was a police officer. And I'm like, we're done here. We're done. So I couldn't put in the complaint. I had an officer kick a door down into my face, break my toe, bring me to the hospital on psych. Then 2 hours in, because he didn't like it, he ditched me off there. The doctor was so pissed that he's like, are you good? I'm like, yeah. He's like, go home. Basically, you're going to waste the doctor's time and you're just going to walk away from it. He's going to do the same thing, bro. I had an incident where I was not mentally sound and I was very distraught. Very distraught. I was afraid I was going to hurt myself, even though I couldn't physically do it. And I went to the hospital seeking help. When I got there, luck have it, Dr. Robert Seguin was working. This guy wears cowboy boots and he's not a nice man. He kicked me out. I told him exactly what I was going to do. I was going to go out and stand in the middle of the 4-lane road right outside the hospital. I stood there, cars avoided me, it was late at night, really good visibility. Cops roll up on me. I tell them exactly what happened, how he kicked me out of the hospital, Sudbury Regional Hospital, whatever we call it now. I don't remember what it's called, but it's our brand new hospital. He kicked me out of there, standing on the road, trying to get run over. And the cops roll up on me, forced me into the back of the vehicle. No cuffs or anything, not saying much. I thought they were going to roll me up to Algoma and stick me in the psych. The cop looks in his little mirror, "Where do you live?" So I told him the street. I wasn't giving him my home address, but I told him Montague. He drove me to Montague Street, opened the door, kicked me out of his cruiser. Had it not been for a very dear friend from the group home who had been staying there, I might have done something really stupid. I don't think I would have, just because my self-preservation instinct kicks in at the last moment and basically stops me. It's the same thing that stops me from getting too angry or doing just dumb shit. It's not like a little voice in my head. The only little voice up in my head is my own voice, and I have to physically make it talk and say stuff, and yeah, I have full control over that little voice. And for anybody who says that voice can't scream, mine can. Mine has volume in there. Like, I've heard it echo. Like, I don't know if that makes me special or not, but hey, how's it going? So, and I've just had a really, really hard time in the last couple weeks. Like, having my landlord send me a notice in my email, which I've already sent him a cease and desist letter to stop emailing me, because he put whiteout on my lease. For 2 weeks solid, he made it impossible for me to pay my roommate's rent. He refused to give banking information. He refused to pick it up in cash. He refused everything. He wanted me to get the person's aunt to email money transfer him. That's not how it works. When you put whiteout on my lease, and then you send it to me, and you tell me I can't pay cash, you make my life a living hell, then bring me to landlord-tenant board and try to have me evicted, and send them a copy of a lease which now has the whiteout chipped off, and I do believe one of the pages has been taken out and reinserted with a fake. I'm gonna have issues with you emailing me a notice. I want the notice posted on the door 24 hours before, like it's supposed to be. You whited out my lease. You lied to my face. You made my life a living hell for 2 solid weeks, as I had cash. I just handed it back to my roommate and I washed my hands of it. And that's basically what has started this greater part of the incident. And like, I've submitted a lot of the stuff I can find to Landlord Tenant Board's portal. They told me it's going to take 5 months. You know, I don't want the Landlord Tenant Board to look down upon me for not paying rent now. He's assaulted me. He's come in and done a hostile recording. He tried to record private bedrooms. He's acting like he not only owns this place, but he's the one renting it. He's the one paying for it. We had a flood. He never fixed any of the flood damage. My door originally was one of those about 20 pound, I think it's 12 to 20 pound door. You know, basically balsa wood, friggin', well, a little stronger than balsa, but all glued together. There's no nails in the construction, no nothing. When I moved in, that door was already starting to come apart, because whoever lived here before had a dehumidifier running in the basement full bore. They've literally sucked 90% of the moisture out of this entire structure. The furnace has some water pipe thing hooked up to it. It ditches off water. He's got the sump pump in the basement going from one sump pit to the other sump pit to a sump pump that's hooked directly up to the sewer line, which you're not supposed to do here in Sudbury, as far as I was told by one of the building inspectors when he was across the street helping do a teardown of 3 or 4 buildings that were constantly flooding. The city bought them, and he had to come do some sort of inspection before they could tear them down. I think it was for like asbestos and stuff like that. And I asked him a lot of questions. And he basically told me, no, you can't have your sump pump dumping into the sewer. I don't know what the issue is there, but there's some little issue of dumping massive amounts of groundwater into the sewer like that. I guess if every house was doing it routinely, that would cause a very large issue. But this is the type of landlord I have. He bought up a bunch of properties. He was running a chip stand. He sold his chip stand. He moved out of the city. He didn't get a rental agent to take over any of this. And like when my door finally gave way, he extorted $200 out of me. He's like, well, I'm not fixing it. You have to pay for this water that got used and this power that got used and blah, 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 blah. So I had no choice but to give in. And it was supposed to be like $400, but I was like, I'll send you 200. And I finally got a new door. But the repairman came, and because the holes weren't any good, he just shoved some sticks in there and screwed the door back on with 2 hinges. This is a solid wood door. Truthfully, it needed 3 hinges. And if the holes were no good, you should have got out your little, I guess it's a lathe, or I can't remember what it's called right now. But anyways, it's like a little tool where you can shave pieces of the door off, and he should have remounted the hinges onto the door and remounted onto the frame. Not like the frame's going to do that great. It's all dry rot. All the moisture's been sucked out of it. The life's been sucked out of it. A lot of the door jambs here are hilariously put together. The work on the drywall is just horrendous, which I think is actually gyprock. Most of this stuff, it's stronger than your average drywall, but it's just horrendous. Like my bathroom floor has I think 3 or 4 different linoleums, and one of them is now peeling up and it's causing issues. I've tripped on it once, but luckily didn't go face down. And it's just a nightmare apartment because like the work here was done half-assed on the last reno in 2008. And he's trying to tell me, oh, this place was like immaculate when I moved in. No. What you seen was the lady that lived here had strategically placed all of her furniture and belongings to make it look so. That didn't make it so. This room's got that cheap $8 per square foot slat flooring. I hate the stuff because every single time you mop, some of that dirty water is going right in between those slats, right onto that vapor barrier or whatever they put underneath of it. And it just slowly starts to fester down there. And then every time it dries up and you take a step, microparticles. You can't even see them unless sunlight's coming in, but right out from under your floor. Dried up cleaner, anything spilt on your floor, dust, molds, any of it. It gets in there, gets under there, and then eventually starts coming back out. And then you'll wonder why a bunch of people are getting sick. Do we even test what they're using to shine that? Because it's a coating. It's a coating. It's a coating that makes it look all nice. Once that coating comes out, it's just this dull, crappy looking shit. And I don't get it. So much of the stuff we sell is just straight up poison. Like, you think all these food additives are great, do you? Because they keep your stuff good for 3 years? And then you wonder why certain cells in the body aren't dying properly and cancer is such a prevalent thing. Hey cells, here's stuff that'll make you nearly invincible. Try to make sure you don't screw up your coating though. I just don't get it. I don't get pushing farms out of areas. I don't get treating farmers like crap. I don't get fuel. I don't get gas. I don't get electricity. I don't get it. If you're starting a gas company or an electric company because you're like, boy, I want to get rich. No, that's not why we do it. You start a company because you want to help. You want to make things better. You want to make things move. You want to make things whatever. Making some money off that is supposed to be the thank you, not the I deserve this and I'm going to up my prices and I'm going to screw everyone out of money. Oh, wait, minimum wage went up, I can make this more expensive. No. It's the reason why I've never tried to open up my own business, because I don't want to make money. If I was running a corporation or a business, I'd be looking for ways to break even.